I know it is already October, but there are a lot of really cool sounding fantasy books coming out in October, and I like keeping up to date with the new releases, so I wanted to make this video anyway. Let me know if any of these books on this list catch your eye and if you will be checking any of them out. Before I get into it, I do want to say I don't read the entire synopsis, but I will have all the book titles in the description of this video if you want to check out more of their descriptions. And with that, let's get into our first title. The first book on this list, releasing October 3rd, is Curious Tides. I feel like I've caught the dark academia bug. I've not actually read that many dark academia books, but they just sound so intriguing and I want to be reading more of them. Emery might be a student at the prestigious Adrienne College for Lunar Magics, but her healing abilities have always been mediocre at best. Until a treacherous night in the Dovermore Sea Caves leaves a group of her classmates dead and her as the only survivor. Now Emery is plagued by strange, impossible powers that no healer should possess. Can you believe I forgot the most important October 3rd release? That is Yumi and the Nightmare Painter's tour release. This is the release for people like me who did not back the Kickstarter. We can now access Yumi and the Nightmare Painter. I am so excited. I think this has been like the most hyped of Sanderson's secret projects so far, and I'm really looking forward to reading this one. The next book is The Scarlet Alchemist. This is also an October 3rd release, and I have had my eye on this book pretty much all year long. It sounds so interesting, and the cover is gorgeous. Xylan dreams of becoming a royal alchemist, of providing for her family by making alchemical gold and gems for the wealthy to eat in order to stay young forever. But for now, she's trapped in an impoverished village in southern China, practicing an illegal form of alchemy to keep food on the table, resurrecting the dead for a price. If you've been around this channel for a while, you will notice that I do mention historical fiction because I do like the occasional historical fiction, and this one caught my eye, so I figured I'd include it on the list. This one is called The Other Princess. A stunning portrait of an African princess raised in Queen Victoria's court and adapting to life in Victorian England, based on the real-life story of a recently discovered historical figure, Sarah Forbes Bonetta. I also read books from across all age genres, though this is the only middle grade book that made it on my list this time. In the future, a black girl known only as Inmate 11 is kept confined, to be used as the biological match for the president's son should he fall ill. She is called Blue, the color of sadness. She lives in a small room with her dog, who is going wolf more often. He's pacing and imagining he's free. Inmate 11 wants to go wolf too. She wants to know why she feels so blue and what is beyond her small room. And we're still on October 3rd releases, but the next one is an adult sci-fi book. This one has also been on my list for a while. This one just sounds so wild and fun, and I'm really curious to pick it up. When Shantiport's resident tech billionaire coerces Lena into retrieving a powerful artifact rumored to be able to reshape reality, forces from beyond their time begin coalescing around the siblings. And when you throw in a piece of sentient, off-world tech with the ability to grant 3 wishes into the mix, none of the city's powers will know what hit them. Moving on to October 10th releases, this is an adult fantasy book that I just recently came across, and it sounds really interesting. The Bone Roots is a Slavic fairy tale inspired fantasy that explores how far a mother will go to protect her child. A tale of 2 mothers, each desperate to protect her child, but only one of them can succeed, and only one of them knows why. Still on October 10th releases, we have our first sequel. This is The Art of Destiny, and I am really interested in picking this series up. A hero once believed to be the chosen one must find a new path with the help of a band of unlikely allies in the sequel to Art of Prophecy, an epic fantasy ode to martial arts and magic. Our next October 10th release is a vampire mythology young adult fantasy. Just sounds wild and really intriguing. Atia would never dream of allying with someone like him, but when she breaks a sacred law and the gods send monsters to hunt her, Silas offers an irresistible deal. He'll help avenge her family and take on the gods who now hunt her, if she helps him break a curse and restore his humanity. Our next book is the only horror book on this list. I don't typically read horror. I'm not really into scary books, but this is a historical fantasy that sounds kind of interesting. Lithuania, 1943. A father drowns in the all-consuming grief of his daughter killed by the Nazis. He can't bring Kaya back from the dead, but he can use Kishnuf, an ancient and profane magic, to create a golem in her image, a Nazi killer to avenge her death. Still on October 10th, our next book is A Stroke of the Pen. This is a short story collection between Neil Gaiman and Terry Pratchett. These are the rediscovered tales that Pratchett wrote under a pseudonym for newspapers during the 1970s and 80s. While none are set in Discworld, they hint towards the world he would go on to create, containing all of his trademarked wit, satirical wisdom, and fantastic imagination. And now I'm finally moving on to October 17th with The Unmaking of June Farrow. A woman risks everything to end her family's century-old curse, solve her mother's disappearance, and find love in this mesmerizing novel. Our next October 17th release is a science fiction book. This is the first in a trilogy. Bakono and Essek are haunted by a figure from their shared past, known only as Six. What Six truly wants is anyone's guess, and the closer they get to finding June, the surer Kono is that Six is manipulating them all. And what they are headed for is a bloody confrontation that no one will survive unscathed. Now for our final October release. This is a series I have had my eye on for a while, and I am really excited to dive into it, but I've not read any of the books yet, and the second book's already coming out. The Traitor of Red Winter is the second book in Ed McDonald's Red Winter Chronicles, full of shady politics, militant monks, ancient powers, and a young woman navigating a world in which no one is quite what they seem. And there you have it, all of the books that I find interesting that are coming out in October. I hope you found some of them interesting too, and I hope you have a great reading month in October. And I'll see you in the next video. Happy reading.